Look at a dense page of molecular biology. Now look at a dense page of classical historiography. For most readers, the words blur into noise. Dictionary definitions for jargon like mitochondria or hoplite are readily available. The real friction for a reader begins at the level of the connective linguistic framework used to sequence and evaluate those individual facts. Academic fluency relies heavily on a specific stratum of language, C1 level vocabulary, highly standardized collocations, and formal idioms. Think of this language as an operating system. It quietly dictates exactly how a technical argument is executed, how processes are sequenced, and how competing theories are critiqued. We are going to deconstruct several excerpts from muscle physiology and classical historiography to map out exactly how this structural language functions in the wild. Achieving elite comprehension requires treating a text like an engineering problem. You aren't translating word for word, you are decoding functional linguistic units to see how the machine actually works. Let's start with the hard sciences, using muscle physiology as our dataset. Consider the verb hydrolyze. A novice writer might say a molecule breaks or splits. An academic text specifies that ATP is hydrolyzed. This diagram illustrates that specific verb in action. When ATP is hydrolyzed to form ADP and PI, the chemical compound is broken down by reacting with water. The verb itself mathematically dictates the state change, leaving no ambiguity about how energy transfer occurs. Next, we have nouns like affinity. In casual conversation, having an affinity for something means you have a natural liking for it. In a scientific context, affinity denotes a highly quantifiable, strong force of adhesion between two molecules. When reading that myoglobin has a higher affinity for oxygen than hemoglobin, you are reading a statement about measurable molecular attraction. We see this precision again in pathology with a term like degeneration. Its Latinate root provides a strictly formal, objective, and clinical diagnosis of a biological system losing its functional ability over time. Contrast that clinical noun with the phrasal verb wasting away. While degeneration describes the internal systemic failure, wasting away describes the progressive physical reality and visual outcome of the disease on the muscle tissue. In the hard sciences, these advanced verbs and nouns exist for strict utility. They elevate a description from a static picture into a dynamic, quantifiable system. This systemic precision relies heavily on collocations, sets of words tightly bound together to create a single, immutable meaning. Here on screen are two foundational models in physiology, the neuromuscular junction and the sliding filament model. Advanced readers train their eyes to read these multi-word phrases as single structural nouns. You don't read the words individually. You process the entire phrase as one locked unit of data. Look at the collocation oxygen debt. It embeds a clear financial metaphor directly into a biological process. It describes a cumulative deficit of oxygen that develops during intense exercise. The body is then mandated to actively repay that deficit through deep breathing afterward. This animation demonstrates another crucial collocation, the homeostatic mechanism. The adjective homeostatic modifies mechanism to universally imply a self-regulating process. It establishes immediately that the biological system maintains stability by automatically adjusting to changing external conditions. Or take involuntary contraction. Adding that specific C1 adjective completely shifts the physiological state by removing the parameter of conscious control from the muscle movement. Treating specialized collocations as a sequence of separate, independent words causes immediate reading comprehension failure. Fluency requires parsing them as locked, singular blocks of data. Moving away from objective biology, we find a different application for this language in the highly subjective realm of classical historiography. Consider the methodology of the ancient Greek historian Herodotus, particularly how he handled oral accounts. A text discussing his work notes that he refused to take narratives at face value, an idiom meaning to accept something exactly as it appears without suspecting a hidden meaning or investigating further. In academic writing, this idiom functions as a critical hinge. It instantly signals the author's rejection of a surface-level narrative in favor of deeper, more rigorous investigation. Instead, the text states he scrutinized the plausibility of each account. This noun measures the mathematical probability or reasonableness of the stories he collected. We can contrast Herodotus's approach with the methodology of his successor, Thucydides. Historians frequently describe Thucydides' approach as highly pragmatic. That adjective acts as a dividing line. It separates practical, evidence-based evaluation from theoretical or mythological assumption. When evaluating how previous historians categorized events, modern academics might use a structural phrasal verb like lump together. To lump items together is to group them while actively ignoring their individual differences. Academics use this specific phrase to critique other experts for erroneous or lazy categorization. Finally, consider the idiom in a similar vein. It functions as a high-level transitional device, linking two parallel arguments or methodologies seamlessly without breaking the flow of the critique. In the humanities, this C1 vocabulary does not describe physical mechanisms. Instead, these words serve as precise instruments used to measure truth, evaluate peers, and structure historical critique. Look at this split-screen syntax map. Left, a biological sentence; right, a historiographical one. C1 verbs, collocations, and idioms occupy identical grammatical load-bearing positions. This shared structural alignment allows authors to execute complex arguments using the same logical patterns, whether analyzing biochemistry or history. C1 vocabulary, collocations, and idioms provide the necessary precision for professional discourse. By establishing parameters, dictating state changes, and transitioning logic, these linguistic units perform the heavy lifting of high-level argumentation. Stop viewing complex texts merely as a collection of domain-specific facts that you need to translate. Command of this structural lexicon enables a reader to navigate the most complex texts with the same clarity they apply to their primary language.